So we just watched season 6, episode 7 of Game of Thrones, and let me tell you, season 6 has thrown us a lot of curveballs.
It's true,
my friend.
It's true.
Okay, we've had comebacks from 3 major characters.
Yeah.
First of all, Jon Snow, shocking.
Yeah, it was
a little predictable.
It was a little predictable. I think that was the only one that a lot of people
saw coming,
especially this season. Maybe in future seasons, but Jon Snow this season was huge.
Second comeback, Uncle Benjen, aka Cold Hands, possibly. In the
True.
books, it's Cold Hands. It hasn't come out if it's Cold Hands yet.
Yeah.
But big comeback, and it's been since early on.
Early season 1, by far the largest absence of a character in the series, for sure.
Yes. And then thirdly, Sandor Clegane, the Hound.
The Hound.
Which is unbelievable. And that's gonna kick off our first topic of this evening. The Hound.
The Hound. The Hound was one of my personal favorite characters of the entire series, just because of his crude language, his kind of like hatred almost toward his own life kind of situation. It was an interesting emotional character because he definitely, you could see him battle through like the good and bad. He had good in him, but he was also an evil character.
Yeah, and he has fascinating dialogue, I find.
He does.
It's just fun to listen to. Kind of like Quentin Tarantino's dialogue.
Yeah,
where it's just you don't know what's coming, but you love it every minute.
You do. And so I didn't quite expect him to come back in the way that he did. Mm-hmm. He was kind of
it was random.
It was. He was kind of saved by what looked to me as like a priest of the Seven, of the faith.
Which is a famous actor that I can't put my nose on.
No, I can't either. So
he's from something. I remember seeing him drunk in a role, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Continue.
Can I just say, actor-wise, it must be the most frustrating thing in the world to be called into a show and then be like, okay, we're gonna kill you, but you're coming back. So sign this contract so that you have to come back and film this episode. You're gonna film those as Benjen, those first 3 episodes. Like, yeah, I'll come back. 6 years later, like what?
Yeah.
The poor guy's been trying to find employment for 6 years and finally comes back as an ice zombie.
But he has insurance because he knows in 6 years he's gonna have a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time.
It's an extremely long time.
Anyways, that was a bit of a.
It was a tangent, but it was worth going on for myself.
It was fun.
All right.
Do you have anything else to say about that?
I don't think so. I think that's about wrapped up for me.
Okay. Okay. So Marjorie, topic 2. Marjorie, I was kind of really confused about her storyline this season for a little while because you could see her. She was trying to convince Loras to keep fighting. Don't give in, but he's just a mess.
Right.
And then the next episode, all of a sudden she's, repenting her sins and becoming one of them, in a sense. And I was confused. This episode really explains that.
A little bit. I think they definitely kept you in the dark on purpose for a long time. It was very unclear why she came back the way that she did. But obviously handing the Queen of Roses, I believe is her title.
Yeah.
Or, no, Queen of Thorns.
That's what it is.
The little rose.
To her grandmother.
Yeah. Symboling the Tyrells and Highgarden. And
so she's not gone.
No.
She's got a plan, and I'm really excited to see what she has in store for us.
For sure. That'll be really interesting. Moving on to River Run. Which is, I think this is the first time we've seen River Run in the series.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen the castle before, but we've definitely heard of it. That's where Blackfish and Catelyn Stark, their origins come from.
Yeah.
And so the Blackfish has assembled his men and retaken River Run from the Freys, who you want to talk about their siege attempt?
They had probably maybe 11 men.
They were confident too.
They were confident. They had what's his name?
Edmure.
They're like, if you don't give us the castle, we'll
Yeah.
slit his throat.
They could have literally said anything in the world with those hats on, and you would have.
You couldn't take them seriously.
No.
Honestly.
They've got warm ears, but they're not.
Yeah.
Some they do
but
not.
Why, they don't need warm. It's like summer.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just looks silly.
Yeah. So that leads to a big confrontation. Jamie, huge episode reveal.
He brings Braun along. First time we've seen him this season, I believe.
Yeah. Back to his old ways though. He dropped a few
loving
good
it.
one-liners
Yeah,
in that
I'm loving
episode.
it. Loving it.
But Jamie, a big confrontation with the Blackfish. It was very interesting seeing two kind of big heads of armies meet like that.
And I don't know if that battle will occur this season.
Right. There's a lot of content to get through for sure.
And we've only got 3 episodes left.
Right.
So, if we do, great.
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite storyline at the moment.
100%. Going over to the Greyjoys.
Oh. Okay, so Theon, he's still looking rough. He's no longer Reek, but he kind of still has a lot of Reek in him.
He does, and I think Alfie Allen does a good job playing him
He's
in,
a great actor.
in the subtle
Brilliant.
ways. Because he looked like a beaten dog, but
You can tell that he's
Just
trying to come back.
the most subtle, like, air of confidence around his stature kind of popped up when he was talking with Yara. So,
Mhm. And apparently she's a lesbian.
yeah, I think we may have found that out a little earlier. Not clear on that, but
Yeah.
it's Game of Thrones. Why not?
You got everything. Good for her.
Yeah.
She's ahead of her time.
Speaking of wars and battles and armies, Jon Snow, Sansa,
Okay, when they went to, what are their names? The Mud,
the Mormonts,
the Mormons.
Bear Island.
They go to Bear Island. There's this great scene with the 10-year-old ruler, and they're trying to persuade her and having her men join their army, and I find it's a great scene because like there's all this build up
There's a lot of tension.
until you find out that they only have 62 men.
Right. And it's like each character goes through it too. It's John goes, makes his speech. John's very good at making speeches. He comes up, builds himself up, gets shut down. Sansa gets shut down. Davos finally does another Davos play. I love Davos.
Davos is really growing on me.
Yeah. And then finally she cracks. All of these efforts have ended up being for 62 men on Bear Island.
But 62 men is better than 0.
It's true, I suppose, but apparently it did not sway the Glovers.
No, they were dicks.
That guy was pissed. But that's a really interesting storyline that I think they're going to get to for sure by the end of the season.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be the Battle of the Bastards.
The Battle of the Bastards, the Battle of the Snows.
Well, he's not. Ramsay isn't technically a snow, but the
Anymore.
technicalities aside, there's not much more to say about that because
No.
there's more to come this season.
For sure. Arya, though.
Oh boy,
Arya had...
she was looking good. Okay,
She was looking great, yeah.
she fooled those guys
Yeah.
so hard, but they were after her. The many-faced
Yeah.
gods.
And she was back to her Arya, kind of like charming her way around, getting on the ship.
Oh yeah,
Really
throwing the
close.
two bags of money.
And when the waif comes as the old lady, and
I knew it right away.
starts.
As soon as I saw the old lady, I was like, it's that.
They did focus it, focus the camera and the shot in a way that it was obvious
It was
that
a
it
little
was something,
suspicious.
but I didn't think it was gonna be that obvious. For some, in my head, I thought it was just gonna be like tense and then a drop
And then
off.
it was someone else maybe.
But
But she gets gut stabbed 2 or 3 times.
she
I'm
got-
not sure.
she
I
got
was in
Robb
shock.
Stark's wifed.
Yeah,
Pretty
but
much.
minus the baby.
Yeah.
It
Too
wasn't
soon.
that.
Too soon.
It's been 3 seasons.
Still too soon.
Yeah. Okay. But then she flings herself off of the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
She did at least a 720.
Right. Yeah.
Not Tony Hawk. Well, I guess Tony Hawk. I was gonna say Shaun White would be proud.
Right. Tony Hawk gave it a 6, unfortunately. But
You know, some judges are tough. He's the Simon Cowell of the group.
it's true.
But then, I thought she was dead. So did the woman.
The Waif, yeah.
Yeah, the waif. She did too. She walks away because there's the blood in the water. But then she comes up, and she's walking through the streets.
That was a really powerful. That was really powerful imagery. Just like the shaking, and the blood dripping, and the
People are
citizens
just
around
like,
her reacting.
they don't
the
care.
way, no, but the way that I feel like people would.
They'd be like, what?
Like you should do something. You know you should do something, but you don't because you're almost afraid to. I feel like that comes up in real life really often.
Mhm.
So it was.
She's got to find a maester quick. That's all I'm
She
saying.
does.
Because if she doesn't, she's dead. I don't.
Alright.
I think she will. She's got to find somebody. I think
Sure.
that about wraps it up for today.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else.
That's
I'll
good.
bring up the poster. You know,
We're not a Game of Thrones channel.
We just like talking about
That's
television.
That's
and
what our
movies.
interest is at the moment. Game
Don't
of
be
Thrones.
surprised if next week there's a different poster behind it.
Right, Franklin the Turtle, most likely.
That will probably not occur.
I tried. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We will see you fine, ladies and gentlemen, next week.
Ramble on.